Sun is shining, barely, but I'll take that. Hey y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of Worship Wednesday. I do not take it lightly. I do not take it for granted. I will forever and always be humble, grateful, and thankful that you come back week after week to see what God is doing in and through my life, but told through a profession of dance. As always, I am glad you're here, and I am glad that you are entrusting your Wednesdays to me. Again, I'm appreciative. No time spent with the Lord for me is without reward. And I think it's even more rewarding for me knowing that this time that I spend also could potentially impact someone else. I'm so tired right now. My body has been doing this really crazy thing where it gets sick at night, and then for the most part I am fine during the day. I sound a little nasally. I don't know if you can hear, but like I can hear it. I'm a little congested, but like for the most part I be coughing up a lung and like hacking, and my throat gets really dry and I need water all night, and then be up at like 3 and then start to fall back asleep by the time my alarm goes off and it's time for me to no longer be asleep. I'm so tired. But here's my real life revelation. What, Elise? Real life revelation? I'm exhausted, but I'm not too exhausted that I'm gonna miss it. What's it? I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm gonna be ready for it. I didn't even do that on purpose. The name of the song is I'm Gonna Be Ready. And so here's what I was thinking or considering, right? It's this old saying or cliche or whatever. It's basically like, you've already overcome 100% of the days that you thought were going to take you out, right? You've already overcome 100% of your hardest days. Especially the ones where you felt like you weren't going to make it, where you felt like you couldn't take it anymore, where you felt like you were on, you know, your last brain cell, your last nerve, like the last of your energy, the last of your faith. You've made it through those days. If you are here watching this video, that means you made it through these days. Whether it was by the skin of your teeth or the hem of his garment, like, you're here. And so if we've already conquered or overcome things that we thought would take us out, how much more is it to say what we can endure, right? And that's kind of where this is kind of coming from. And then on top of that, it's like, but if I go through all of this, if I endure all of this, if I make it through all of this, why wouldn't I want to make it until it gets good? Why wouldn't I want to make it until it gets better? Why wouldn't I want to make it until it goes from tolerable to okay, from okay to good, from good to great, from great to exceedingly and abundantly above all we could ask or think, right? Like, why wouldn't I want to do that? I did all the hard stuff. Like, I made it through all the hard stuff. Why wouldn't I then want to see it go beyond just, I made it through the hard stuff? And so, you know, I'm coming at that from like a place of hope, you know, a place for favor, a place of knowing that God wants to see good for his children, you know, knowing that he works all things together, and that no time, no moment, no experience is wasted. And so I'm just thinking about, if I'm so tired that I'm making it through all of this, but I still want to have the energy to be ready for whatever's coming next, right? And just trusting and believing God that it will get better, it will get easier, life will get softer, it will get more enjoyable and less tolerable, right? And that I will be able to really press into the joy of the Lord and believe God that he will keep me through these, and not just to be here. And also, my brain is tired, I'm so sorry. And also, being stagnant and complacent isn't necessarily the same thing as waiting, right? They both might feel idle and they both might lack progress. But at the same time, waiting with expectancy and believing God has a lot to do with not just your heart posture and your attitude, but also how you're waiting. And if you're preparing for something and you're saying to God, I'm believing this in faith, if you are preparing for something, right? And in the midst of me waking up in these crazy hours, my friend reminded me that, it's like, first watch, them hours, those the praying hours. And I was like, you know what, girl, you're right. Like I said, and sometimes it dawns on me and I might ramble a few things and then try to go back to sleep. But this morning I tried to be really intentional about sitting up and actually praying before I tried to go back to sleep. And because I'm still half asleep, a lot of it was like ramble, but like I tried to get out like a lot of like affirming, a lot of like exalting, a lot of thanks, because I was like, if I can't get a structure of a prayer down, I at least want to give you thanks. I at least want to give you glory. I at least want to give you honor. I at least want to exalt your name. I at least want to say bless you, Lord. I at least want to say thank you. Like, so I was trying to at least stay in that vein. And one of the only coherent things that I really felt like that I remember myself saying, because I was half asleep, was like, I felt like there was a block or a hindrance in my life. Like I feel like there's something that's holding these things back. And I was like, basically like, and Lord, if it's of you, then like I pray that I learn whatever I need to learn, that I embrace whatever I need to embrace, that I am prepared in whatever way I need to prepare, so that these things don't stay held up for me. And if it's not of you, if this is wicked spiritual forces, if this is the enemy, if this is the devil, if this is just anything that's set out to negate or discourage me from the path that you have for me, then like, Lord, I want to pray against that too, right? And so I wasn't planning on dancing to this song at all. But when I literally had like the notion or the revelation of like, I'm so tired, but I'm not too tired to not be ready for what's coming. And I was like, that's very optimistic of you, Elise. I appreciate that. And so I appreciated that of myself, like to have myself in that mindset and that mentality. I appreciate that encouragement from the Lord, because I know that I didn't just wake up and was like, think that myself. Not that I'm inherently a negative person, but I also know like I be in my feelings sometimes. And so I wholeheartedly believe that encouragement came from the Lord. And so as I'm thinking about not being idle, not being complacent, but waiting with intention, like I'm gonna be ready. So yeah, I'm tired, but whatever I need to do to make sure I make it to the next chapter, the next step, the next opportunity, the next arena, the next whatever God has for me, the next season. And I don't just mean like in one area of my life, but like across the board. Like I want to make sure I'm ready. And if that means I have to figure out what I'm supposed to, or not just figure out, but like actively seek his guidance and his wisdom on what I'm supposed to be learning and what this season of my life is supposed to be teaching me, what I'm supposed to be cultivating in this, like I'm annoyed, but like, so be it. And it's crazy because I was just having a similar conversation with my mom a couple of days ago, where I was just like, well, if you keep doing something over and over, or if it feels like a cycle is being repeated, or if like you're doing the same thing and you're not getting any results, like it makes you wonder, like, God, is this from you? And if this is from you, what am I missing? Like, what part am I missing? And again, in a completely different, separate area of my life. So it's interesting. So I just kind of feel like I've been talking about making a shift in terms of like being more hopeful and more encouraging. And not that these videos aren't hopeful or encouraging. It's also mental and emotional processing, and I be in my feelings. But so as I was talking about making the shift to like more encouraging and more, optimistic and maybe more lighthearted. I don't even think that's a good word to use either. But like, y'all know I also struggle with like the whole line between like wanting and wishing and praying and believing God for more versus like prosperity gospel and believing like the correlation to materialistic or financial, physical, natural gain, you know, like that whole thing. So like I struggle in that. But I do genuinely feel like there is more for me. There's more for me to do. There's more for me to accomplish. And not just because I want to, but because God has continued to use me. And I'm thankful for that. And God will continue to use me. And I'm looking forward to that. Whatever that means. And even if that doesn't mean in a way that I saw, or a way that I planned, you know, because sometimes ministry and being a servant is not about how it fits into your life, but the sacrifice of you extending yourself even still, right? So with the predictables and the unpredictables, the foreseen and the not foreseen, I want to be ready. And I want to be ready with thanks. Because I'm really trying to lean in on coming into everything, or reacting to everything, or being a part of everything from a place of gratitude and thanks. And so because of that, I'm just trying to be really diligent in making sure, you know, that I'm ready whenever he says go, whenever he says don't go, wherever he says, that I'm ready. And so I just hope and I pray that, number one, that nobody gives up on what they feel like God has given them, right? If it's a dream, if it's a relationship, if it's a venture, if it's a hobby, if it's something that's been stirring up inside of you, that you feel like God is giving you, and it just might not maybe have launched the way you wanted it to launch, or has grown the way you wanted it to grow. Maybe there's parts of it that's discouraging now, or the newness wore off. Like, I just want to be encouraging and say, like, be ready, because you don't know what God's trying to do with that next. Be ready, because you don't know what God has up his sleeve in regards to it, and how he will use it and use you if you are in the position and the posture to hear from him, right? So I pray that it touches somebody that needs some encouraging in that way. I pray for the people that are believing God for the more, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, professionally, creatively, like whatever the more is, I pray that you're ready for it. Because if you are in the right headspace and heart posture to really want to serve God, I believe that he's going to call his people to expand in those areas, because we know that we get blessed to bless others. We get so that we can give. And so because I know this world is going through so much and is hurting in so many ways, and there's so much crazy stuff happening, the world has a need. The world as a whole has a need, and each and every single one of us that are called all have different ways to fulfill different needs. And so for the ones that are aligned, the ones that are in tune, he will expand us in the areas that we are needed in and we are called to serve, because the world needs all of us. And so thank you, Lord, because I thought I was done. And so I want us to just be waiting, but with expectancy and preparation. Because I rather be prepared and not know and have to hurry up and get caught up when he says go, than for him to say go, and then for me to have to figure out what it takes for me to go. So whatever it is, wherever it is, however it is, whatever it is, I'm gonna be ready. And part of that includes me taking a nap, because I should be well rested if I'm gonna be ready. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna dance, and then I'm gonna do that because God said I could. Thanks. As always, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I pray that something that I said or some movement that you saw gives you something to talk about with God today. I pray that you are able to take it a step further, that you are able to have conversations with others to give them the reasons why you believe. I also pray that anything that I said that goes against the heart, the will, or the word of my Father gets tossed far, far away into the sea of forgetfulness, never to be seen from or heard from again. I pray that you charge it to the fact that I ramble and that I am still half asleep, and not to the heart or the character of my Father. I am just a flawed human, just like we're all flawed humans. And so, yeah, I pray that whatever is of him, though, sticks and stays. And I pray that it brings forth something in your brain so that you can make a connection to whatever he's given me to share with y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. God willing, I will see you all back here next week. This has been your weekly episode of Worship Wednesday.
I say a prayer every night. Whatever I do, I'll get it right. With no regret, no guilt or shame this time. No, not this time. Once I surrender, I won't dare look back. 'Cause if I do, I'll get off track. Move ahead in faith and patiently await your answer. What will it be? Sight beyond what I see. You know what's best for me. Prepare my mind, prepare my heart for whatever comes. I'm gonna be ready, strength to pass any test. I feel like I'm so blessed with you in control. I can't go wrong, 'cause I always know I'm gonna be ready. I was free to do what I wanted to. Lost everything, but I still had you. You showed me your grace. Now my life's renewed, and I thank you. Yes, I thank you. So I'm telling anyone who'll listen, I'll testify about how good you were to me when so-called friends passed me by. The fact that you would show somebody so broke down, so much mercy beyond what I see. You know what's best. I know you know what's best for me. Prepare my mind, and prepare my heart for whatever comes. I wanna be ready.
also at this time like to say rest in peace, Rocco. He was a new addition to Worship Wednesday at the top of this year. I thought it was cute because he's shaped like a rock, and so he blends in with the outside very naturally. But unfortunately, his little charger port broke, and so after this, Rocco's gonna be no more because I'm not gonna be able to charge him. But I'm also not too mad because I got him at Five Below. If anybody sees any more rock speakers at their local Five Below, let me know, because I really liked it. But now he's gone. So let's all say bye-bye to Rocco.